seen these before. They're called a donut peach. They are so delicious. They're really sweet. They're probably one of the nicest peaches I've ever had. I can't even explain to you just how good it is. So they look like these little babies. They're like a little fat, flat sort of a peach, but if you can get hold of some, have one. They're absolutely divine. Hello, Jade here from The Rawsome Truth. Today I want to talk to you about something I mentioned in another video, and I had somebody ask me, Jade, can you tell me more about it? And that is hormone imbalance. And I've been suffering hormone imbalance for the last couple of years, and I feel through eating raw that I have, slowly but surely, I'm overcoming it, and it's not the way it was a couple of years ago. Now, some of the symptoms of hormonal balance are extremely heavy period or extremely light. In my case, it was an extremely heavy period for 5 to 6 days. Extreme cramping, you know, where you're bent over and you're in agony. I was in so much pain. I was putting hot water bottles on my belly. Back cramps are another one through when you get your period, and that's what I had as well. Tender breasts, lumpy breasts can be another symptom as well. So there's quite a few different things that can go into place when you have hormone imbalances. And another sure sign for me was the acne that I had throughout my jawline, and I had extremely bad cystic acne. And on your jawline, that's generally when you've got hormone imbalances where you will get them. And it's dreadful. It's really dreadful. It's uncomfortable, it's horrible, you're very hormonal from it. I was crying at the drop of a hat for nothing. I mean, I'm a highly emotional person anyway, but I was ultra sensitive, and it's just not a nice place to be in when you've got these hormone imbalances. So what causes them? One of the greatest cause for hormone imbalances is stress. You know, and we live these highly stressful lives. My life up until about a year ago, my last year's been good, was extremely stressful. I was going through hell. And when I say hell, I was going through extreme hell. It was the hardest time of my life. I went through about 2 to 3 years with my son, extremely bad, and I was extremely stressful. And this is when everything started playing havoc with my body. I've always had relatively heavy periods anyhow, but not like this. This was where I was just doubled over in pain, the cystic acne everywhere, and all the above that I was saying. It was extremely bad. So the number one problem with stress is what happens when stress produces cortisol in your body, which in turn can block progesterone being produced in your body. It also blocks the receptors in your brain from releasing this hormone. So when this hormone isn't being released, guess what? Havoc in your body. The other thing that is a major cause of hormonal problem is digestive issues. See, when our gut is not healthy, nothing seems to be healthy. And I have had a series of gut problems, including irritable bowel syndrome, and the acne that I've had on my cheeks and my head is a sure sign that I've got gut problems. I don't believe my gut is completely clear yet, and I've been raw for 12 months, but I am sure that it is on the right path. So what are some of the things that I have been doing to, one, clear my irritable bowel syndrome? And some of the symptoms for irritable bowel syndrome are diarrhea, constipation, stomach cramps, also mucus in your stools, and you'll know it's like a real jelly. It's disgusting. So that as well from irritable bowel. So what are some of the things that I have done to start healing my hormones and to heal my irritable bowel syndrome? Well, first of all, I became 100% raw, and I did that over 12 months ago. I live on a high carb, low fat diet. So it's predominantly fruit, and I include greens in my diet and a small amount of overt fats, but I keep my fats low. I've noticed before, and it's happened throughout the year, I have had too much fat, because sometimes it just happens that you decide to be a little guts, and I've had too many nuts or something like that, and my stomach has been cramping. I've had diarrhea, all the stuff that I've had pre-going raw, I've had whilst raw when I've had too much fat. So I know high fat for me is a big culprit for my stomach. I also know wheat, which I haven't had in the last 12 months, but I know wheat is a big problem for me. And also excess grain. So people say, you know what, if you can't have wheat, have rice, have this, have that. But when I have excess grains, I start to get it too. So I have problems with high grains, I have problems with wheat, I have problems with high fat. So the best thing for me to have is fruit and leafy greens and the tiniest amount of fats, which I still have a small amount, and I find if I have a small amount I'm okay, but anything too heavy is a problem. Now, another thing is when we're stressed, it can affect our thyroid, because so many things, sorry, I'm outside and I'm getting bitten. So many things can affect our thyroid. So a great thing that I've been having is celery juice, and I have celery juice first thing in the morning, or sometimes during the day, depends if I'm lazy and I can't be bothered juicing, let's be real. And I'll have half a bunch of celery, and I'll have that with a lemon and some ginger, and it's absolutely divine, and that's something that's extremely good for your thyroid. What else have I been doing? I also take probiotics. I take dairy-free probiotics, and I have them daily, and I feel they've made a huge difference to me and my hormones. Now, I know that I'm getting better, one, because my skin is clearing now. I've got no makeup on, so you can see, you know, I've still got a few little dots, so that and that is only because I'm on my period and I got a little breakout, and that was okay. I can deal with that. My skin is a lot clearer, so my skin's clearing. I'm not getting the cystic pimples that I was getting on my jawline, and I'll put in a photo and you'll see just how bad they were. They were extremely bad and painful. My period used to be for 5 days extremely heavy. I'm still getting a heavy period for 2 days, but my period's actually finishing after 3. So I can't complain. So my period duration has actually shrunk. I'm not getting the cramping. I'm not getting the swollen boobs. I'm not getting the pains where I'd feel they're a little bit lumpy and sore. So I'm not getting that anymore either. That is a sure sign for me that my body is healing, and hence why I believe in the power of raw. One thing I have noticed is that I've stopped juicing fruits, and I got heavily into juicing fruits over winter, and it wasn't I wasn't feeling as good as I'm feeling now, just having the whole foods all blended. And so I've cut out juicing fruit, and that was huge for me because that's been a big part of my life for many years. So I'm just juicing the celery now, and I'm not having my apple juices. I've even cut my orange juice out, which I absolutely love. So that's been a big thing for me, to actually look at that and say, you know what, I think it may be causing a problem at this point in time. Look, I may reassess it later, but at this point in time I've just said, you know what, let's calm down on that too. So I do have a substantial amount of greens, and I've also added into my diet, which I used to be a real big barley wheatgrass, and I get it in the powder. I used to be a big wheatgrass fan, or barley green grass, whatever, either one, they're good. And because I used to follow the Hallelujah diet, which I love the Hallelujah diet, and I stopped for a while, as you do, you go off track and whatever, for like 10 years, you know, go off track, but I was following it for a while, and I still follow a lot of their principles because I love it. And I love the fact that they actually encourage you to have barley grass or wheatgrass, and I was having a lot of that a long time ago. Well, I've started adding it back into my diet, and instead of just the recommended, I think they have 1 or 2 teaspoons a day, I'm having 2 tablespoons every morning. And I can't explain to you how much different it's making me feel. So that's another thing I've added into my diet, and I feel that's making a difference as well. So at this point in time, that is all I have done. Now, I've tried lots of things over the years for my hormonal problems, including going on the pill, which I'm not proud of, but just trying to get some form of balance. Obviously I'm drug free now. I'm not taking anything like that. So that's, I think, making a difference too. I've cleaned out any toxic waste that I've actually had in my system. I think that makes a difference. But the number one thing that I'm not doing is stressing. And you know, you can do whatever you want, you can change your diet, you can do whatever, but if you're stressing, you're not going to heal anything in your body. So the number one advice I can give to anybody who has hormonal imbalance and who has irritable bowel syndrome or whatever, stress less. When we put stress on our body, we block so many functions of our body, and we block even the receptors in our brain, you know, so nothing happens properly. It causes weight gain, which was number one thing for me that I noticed when with my hormones and my irritable bowel was my weight gain. And you know, up until a couple of years ago, I was sitting at about 58 kilos, and I was constantly that, and then the weight just started creeping back on and on and on and on. And I really, to be honest, have lived very clean living since 2010. I've lived a clean living life. Yes, I had cooked food, but my diet was relatively clean living, and in the last couple of years it had been plant-based. Yeah, I was putting on weight. So that for me, not stressing is a big thing. So, you know, even if you take time out to breathe, and when I say breathe, you know, so you're having the real deep breathing, take the time for breathing, go on walks. And I'm now getting up every morning and I go on a long walk for about an hour, and I need that time. You know, I'm working full time, and I'm taking care of a client at the moment in her home, you know, when I'm not working full time, in her home with mental illness. So that's huge. So I'm taking these time out, hence I'm filming in the local school. I've got nowhere to film, it's dreadful. Anyhow, so stressing less is a huge thing. You know, take up a hobby you like doing, even if it's knitting or crocheting or crossword puzzles or mindfulness or colouring in or something you enjoy doing. For me, relaxing is going on a walk. That for me is just heaven on a stick, and it's a time for me to think and take stuff in. Another great thing to release stress is exercise. So yes, I said walking, so going on a walk, but you know what, even if you want to go a bit further than that, get that heart rate up and really exercising. That's a great way to release stress. If you've got real heavy stress, take up boxing, get it out, you know. So another great thing. So my irritable bowel is a lot better. I know I can't put fats or wheat or whatever into my system, or I just blow up and I bloat. Like seriously, I put up a picture of me before raw, and everyone thought like I've had this dramatic weight loss, but I've actually only lost 5 kilos since I've been on raw. It's just the bloating stops. So I'll put that picture back up again so you can actually see the actual difference between pre-raw and now. There's been a massive difference. So you can see the stress from my gut stress has gone down a lot too. Anyhow, that was just, you know, something I wanted to discuss today. Oh, the other thing, stay hydrated, drink Water. It is so important to be drink plenty of water, especially when you're detoxing. It helps flush all the toxins out. It helps get the mucus out of your body. When you're hydrated, your skin is so much better. I'm drinking 2 to 3 liters of water a day, plus having plenty of fruit. Don't let anybody tell you to not have water. Anyway, they're my tips. They're not really my tips, they're just what's been working for me. I'm Jade. This is the Rawsome Truth. Remember, don't take lives, live life. Get your fruit on and your greens too. Bye for now.